Good morning everyone. I hope all of you are fine. And how is your study going on? I hope you people are studying very nicely. So today let us start with the same topic, separating the components of a mixture. So till chromatography we studied in the last class. So today we will learn how we can separate a mixture of two miscible liquids. So we already learned about how to separate a mixture of two immiscible liquids. Immiscible liquids means liquids that does not get mixed up, and miscible liquids means liquids which will get mixed up. Am I clear? For example, if you take alcohol and few ml of alcohol and few ml of water, if you mix it, you will see that they will get mixed up. For example, if you take acetone and water also, it will get mixed up. Am I clear? So it gets mixed up and it forms a single solution. So since it is a single solution, so how to obtain those components from the single solution, that we will learn today. And we can separate a mixture of two miscible liquids by a process called distillation method. Okay, and in the distillation method, the two liquids which we will separate from the mixture have sufficient difference in their boiling points, and it is minimum more than 25 degree Celsius. So 25 degree Celsius means it is 298 Kelvin. So it is sufficient enough. Okay. So please everyone take out activity number 2.8. So how we will use this method? Let us take a mixture of acetone and water. Now we will mix these two solutions and we will make a single solution and we will put in a distillation flask. Now we will fit it with a thermometer to check the temperature, obviously. Okay. Now we will arrange the apparatus as shown in figure 2.9. In the figure you will see that there is a water condenser. What is the work of a condenser? It will condense the vapor to liquid again, because we will heat it, so it will condense the vapor. Now what we will do, after arranging the apparatus, we will heat the mixture slowly. Now what will happen, since acetone vaporizes earlier than water, since its boiling point is less, so what will happen, acetone will rise up because it will turn to vapor, and when it will pass through the condenser, it will cool down and it will turn to liquid again, and we will collect in the beaker, and water will remain in the distillation flask. So this way we can separate a mixture of two miscible liquids having a sufficient difference in their boiling points. Now if you consider petroleum products like petrol, diesels and all, and if you consider the gases present in air, you will see that the difference in their boiling point is very less, very less. So how to separate those mixtures? We cannot use distillation method, because what will happen, it will get mixed up again. So which method we should apply? We apply a method called fractional distillation method, and this process is used to separate a mixture of two or more miscible liquids having difference in their boiling points less than 25 Kelvin. 25 Kelvin is very less. Okay. For example, if you want to separate the mixtures of components of air, you can use fractional distillation method. Actually, distillation method and fractional distillation method, you will see that it is quite similar, but only the difference is that in fractional distillation method we are having a fractionating column in between distillation flask and the condenser. So what is the work of the fractionating column? In figure 2.10 you can see that there is a fractionating column, and the fractionating column is a tube having packed with glass beads. You can see small glass beads. This is the the main function of the fractional distillation method. So fractionating column is a tube packed with glass beads, and the beads provide surface for the vapors to cool and condense repeatedly. Actually what happens, since fractional distillation method is used to separate those liquids having a very less difference in their boiling point. So what will happen, these glass beads will provide the enough surface for the vapors to cool and condense repeatedly. Here the main function or main work will be done. So this is the main difference between this distillation method and fractional distillation method. That means you will not get fractionating column in case of distillation method, and in case of distillation method there will be sufficient difference in their boiling points between the two liquids, and it will be more than 25 degrees Celsius, and in case of fractional distillation method it is less than 25 Kelvin. Okay. Now how can we obtain different gases from air? Obviously by fractional distillation method. Please take out page number 22 in your book and figure number 2.11. So what we do actually here, we compress the gases and we turn these gases into liquids. Under high pressure we compress it and turn these gases to liquid. Now these liquid gases, from the liquid air we will separate the gases by fractional distillation method. Okay, you have to remember this flow chart and the boiling point of different gases like oxygen, argon and nitrogen, at what temperature we can collect it, those you have to remember. Okay. Next question is, how can we obtain pure copper sulfate from an impure sample? Pure copper sulfate means, what is a copper sulfate? It is a salt. Okay. Pure means when we get the salt, it is not in the pure form. So how to purify the salt? Actually we purify the salt by a method called crystallization method. So specially copper sulfate is given in your syllabus. So you have to learn how to obtain pure sample of copper sulfate from impure sample of copper sulfate. We can purify sodium chloride salt also by crystallization method. Am I clear? So you have to take out activity number 2.9, how we will get the pure samples of copper sulfate, that we will learn. So we will take a few amount of copper sulfate in a china dish. Like a minimum of 5 grams we can take, and we will try to dissolve it in minimum amount of water. Minimum amount means, suppose you need 10 ml or 20 ml, so that much only we will take. We will not take too much of water. Okay, then what we will do, if there is some visible impurities, we will separate it by filtration method or some. Okay, now what we will do, the impurities that are dissolved in the solution, that we will separate by crystallization method. Now what we will do, we will heat the solution and we will make a saturated solution of it. Saturated solution means, how we will get the saturated solution? When you will start heating, you will see that some of the salts have started reappearing in the solution. That time you will stop heating and you will cool the saturated solution of copper sulfate. Now we will cover it and we will keep it overnight, and next day you can see the pure crystals of copper sulfate in it. And crystallization method is a better technique than simple evaporation method. Why? Because some solids may get decomposed if we heat directly. It may break also. Okay, some of the solids like sugar may get charred on heating to dryness. Am I clear? And some impurities may remain if we evaporate the solution or if we filter it. Okay, but by crystallization method we can remove those dissolved impurities, which is not possible to separate by evaporation